Welcome back to my channel, and I'd like to welcome you all to the introduction of a Nuke X beginner's guide. So this is a very simple tutorial video, and I hope you will learn something, and I hope it gives you interest to learn Nuke. So without further ado, let's get started. I'm using, by the way, I'm using Nuke X version 9, and when you open the software, this is what you're gonna get. So the first thing that I always do, before I introduce you to all the tools, the first thing that I always do when I'm starting Nuke is I usually press S. I hover my mouse over here and I press S, and it will give me to the project settings, which I'm going to switch to, on the full size format, I'm going to switch it to 1920 by 1080, okay? And FPS, or frames per second, I'm just going to choose 24 frames per second. Frame range, you can definitely adjust whatever you want. If you want a frame range of 500 frames, you can do that, and it automatically changes here, 500. But for this tutorial, let's just put it to 100. And you could lock the range or not, okay? I prefer it to lock. And over here, I'm not gonna mess around with this one right here. So let's just state the basics. HD 1080, 1920 by 1080 right there. And over here, I always wanted to switch it to 1. The reason why is when I'm working in complicated scenes, and if you have multiple versions here, let's say 10, and let's say I'm gonna put a blur node, it will add up, like this is 1 right here, this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way to how many slots you put in, and it's gonna get confusing at times. So what I usually do is I just put 1, and I only see what I'm currently using. Okay, so that's my setting right there. And with this style of my user interface, I usually you could always if you want to reset the workspace right there, you could always reset the workspace. But if you want, you could always move all the properties like so. Right there, you could move it. You could move everything. If you want to move the node graph over here, you can do it as well. Okay. Curve editor, dope sheet. We'll get into that one as we move along. So node graph here is where all your tools are. Okay, blur, color correct, so on and so forth. Okay, and on your left side right here are some of the tools that you'll probably be using most of the time. Okay, and I will slowly introduce all the tools here that are available, because if I'm gonna teach you all of the tools here, you will be overwhelmed. So I devised a strategy on how to introduce you to all the tools slowly. Okay, so first thing we need to do is you could click the tools here, or you could just simply hover your mouse here in the node graph and press tab. Okay, so when you press tab, you automatically get this pop-up window, and you could type whatever tools you want. So the first thing we need to invoke is the node constant. Okay, constant like that. So you could press enter, or you could click it, and then you will have a constant node. Now, what a constant node does is it gives you color information, the red, green, and blue. Okay, so right now, to view this one right here, you could either connect the viewer over here, or you could select the constant node and press 1. Okay, but we don't see anything here is because it is black. So what if we change the color? Right? To change the color, you could either put a number, 0.5, which is gray, or you could put 1, which is white, or you could select the color wheel, like so, and you could select the circle in the middle, and you could drag and rotate whichever color you want. Okay? So let's pick a color that is sky blue. Okay? Like somewhere here. Okay? Like that. And I always switch my channels to RGBA, meaning that it has red, green, blue channels and also alpha channel. And it will be useful as we move along, okay? Meaning that we are giving this node an alpha channel. Now, if you don't know what an alpha channel is a black and white information that we could use as masks or a premult to a certain shape. So what I'm talking about is if you hover your mouse here on the interface, okay, and you press A, you'll see white, meaning that's the alpha channel. If you press A back, okay, you switch back to RGB. You could switch to different channels over here if you want, okay? Now to navigate on the interface, left mouse button is select tools, middle mouse button is panning, and you could right click, and there's also different tools over here. To zoom in and out is to roll the middle mouse, okay? Roll the middle mouse. Or if you are very far over here, you could always press H, okay? Press H to fit the comp in its window, okay? Same here in the node graph. If you click and hold middle mouse and drag it, it will pan around. You could select a certain node and press H or F to center it. Okay? So what can we do with a constant? Okay? What can we do with a constant? So what we can do with a constant is we could use it together with a roto. Okay? So I'm gonna deselect it, select an empty space right here, press tab and type roto. Okay? There's two kinds. There's roto paint and there's a roto. Now all we need now is just the roto. So I'm going to select roto, and we have this simple thing right here. So when you double click it, you're going to have the roto properties over here. Okay. In this space right here is where you're going to see all the rotos that you will be making. On the left side right here are the tools of the roto node. So in default, we are given the Bezier tool, which is a very good tool. So we could start from here, the Bezier. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a cloud, okay? So I'm just going to left click and drag to make a Bezier handle, okay? Left click and drag to form a shape, okay? Left click and drag to however you want. Okay, left click and drag. Okay, just left clicking and drag. And to connect the ends, all you have to do is go to the end point and left click it. Okay. Now, what if you wanted to edit the shape of the roto? So all you need to do is select the point. You could press Control and left mouse, and you could edit the different hands of the Bezier. Okay? If you want a sharp transition, you could do like that. Okay. if you're not going to hold control, you just left mouse the handle. You could control both hands at the same time. Okay, so again, select a point. You could either move two handles with a left mouse button, or you could select control and select one side. You could move individual hands of the bezier. Okay, so let's try to modify and make this cloud shape look better. Let's do this here. That. Okay. Now, if you want to delete an existing point, okay, you could always go here, remove points. Okay, let's say we want to remove this guy right here. Okay, yeah, you could remove it. You could remove it. If you want to add a point, okay, just go to the add points. Select the side, and now you just added a point. So, right. So now we have this cloud shaped. Okay. So now, how are we gonna do this one here? So if you press 1, you'll only see the shape, but we wanted a color information. Now, there's two things that you could do. Okay, so let's do what I always do, what are my go-to setup in using this one right here. So to connect this two, I press tab and I type copy, okay, copy node, and I connect the A to the roto and B to the constant. Okay, make sure that you use the default setting, which is copy channel RGB alpha to RGB alpha. Okay, it basically tells that it's copying its alpha information to the constant. Now, when you press 1, nothing happened. That's okay, because what you're going to do next is add a Premult node. So you press tab and type Premult. Okay. So once you add a Premult, now it takes the alpha information and cuts it using the alpha information and cuts the constant right there. So this is my go-to move right here. And why is it my go-to move? Because every time I use this, I'm guaranteed 100% opaque alpha. And what do I mean by that? Is when I view my Premult, I press 1 to my Premult, okay? And I go to my window and I press A, which is the alpha, okay? I get this white information, and if I press Control and left click on the white information, you will notice that at the bottom here, I get a red channel, which is 0.2, green channel, which is 0.7, blue channel, which is 1, value of 1, and my alpha is a value of 1. Okay? That's why I always use copy Premult to guarantee me a solid alpha. Okay, now I'm going to go back to my window and I'm going to press A again to go back to my RGB mode. Okay? So I have this blue cloud, which we don't really want blue clouds. We want white clouds. So I'm just going to double click my constant and I'm going to adjust the color to give us a little bit of a whitish blue, like a pale blue, something like that, very close to white. Okay, we have that. Or if you select the roto, you could Control C and then Control V, copy it. Okay. What you could also do is double click the Roto under Output, Roto tab Output. You switch it to RGBA, and now it will give you an RGBA information, which then you will have a choice under here, Bezier 1. You could change the color. Okay, you could select that one, and it gives you this color wheel information, and then you could play around with the colors and see what you want. Okay, you could close it like so. So both of these are the same. Okay, they're the same. You could also change the color if you want to. If you want white, you could change it to white. Okay, so if you press 1 over here, you could also press 1 over here. You could do that. You could also do is select the Premult and press 2. Now you could switch between the two objects. Press 1, 2, 1, 2, like so. Okay, so you could do both right here. These are the same. Now, after I make a certain object, what my usual practice is, I usually select all of them, okay, and I press Tab, and I type backdrop, okay, backdrop node. So I select it, and it immediately puts all my group of selection node into a backdrop. You could adjust it, okay, you could move it. Okay, if you want to move it by itself, you could press Control and select the backdrop node, and you could move it around, position it. Okay, if you want to move everything, you could just left click the backdrop node, and it will automatically include the nodes inside it. Okay, so what we can do here is double click the backdrop node to get the properties appear, and under label you could type clouds. Okay, you could adjust whatever text you want. Okay, you could adjust the thickness of the font. You could adjust the size and the color. Okay, it's up to you. Okay, you could even adjust the color of the backdrop node. So if you double click it right here, okay, you could adjust however you want, different colors. Okay, so this is my clouds backdrop. Okay, I have this cloud right here made of Roto constant or copy Premult, or I could have this other cloud right here, which is simply made of a Roto. Okay, so let's try to edit this one so that it looks different from the other clouds. So at least we have a different type of cloud we can use. Okay. Or what you could do is, while clicking the Roto, you could go to the Transform tab, okay, and you could adjust the scale. Okay, we can do that by, we could also separate the scaling when you click this 2 right here, and then the width and the height. If you don't want it, you will only get one uniform scale. If you want to edit the width and the height separately, you could click the 2, and it will give you this 2 choices right here. So let me edit the width like that. Okay, you could grab it and type the number, or you could just select one number and use the middle mouse button to scroll like so. Okay, middle mouse button right there. All right, so now if you select 1 and 2, now we have 2 different clouds. Okay, all right, and Also, don't forget to save. Okay, so I'm going to go to File, Save Comp As, and I'm going to go to my I'm going to create a folder here containing all my Nuke scripts. Okay, you could choose whatever path you want, and I'm just going to type Nuke tutorial introduction beginner's guide. Okay. Now, after we could unhook the viewer, okay, and after we made the clouds, the next thing to do is we're going to make a sky. Okay, so again, let's bring in, let's press tab and type constant. Okay, switch it to RGBA, change the color to 1, which converts it to white color, and we're going to be making a sky. So I'm going to go again to the sky blue, okay, and this will be my sky right here. So we could use a flat color for now. Okay, let's press tab and type backdrop. Okay. Then I could double click the backdrop and I type sky. Okay, so we have a sky which is over here. Okay, it's 1920 by 1080, and we have the clouds like so. Now, what we can do for them to show together at the same time is we could connect them using a merge node. Okay, so press tab and type merge. Okay, so we have a merge node right here, or you could simply press the letter M, okay, as a shortcut. Press M as the merge node. Okay, now the clouds will be over the sky, so merge A should be the cloud and B should be the sky. Okay, so select the merge and press 1, and now you are merging two objects. Okay, you could see the sky over here, you can see the clouds over here. Now what about this other roto cloud? What can we do with it? Same thing. You could use a merge. Okay, press M. You could either this one be on top of this cloud right here, or maybe this one will be on top of this one. Either way, you could do it. Okay, and over here you could connect it to this merge. So you could double click this cloud right here, and you could go to transform, select the Bezier, okay, to get the transform gizmo, and you could actually move it like so. You could move it anywhere you want. You could even scale it. Okay, so if you hover your mouse at the side, okay, you could scale it down. Okay, to position it right there. Okay, you could do that. Also here, this cloud right here, if you wanted, you could always, if you want to scale it down, you could always click the roto, go to transform, select the Bezier. Okay, you could scale it down right here, you could scale it down right here. It's the same thing. Okay, different ways. No, you could do that, or what you could also do is add a transform node. Okay, so we could press tab, type transform. Okay, and this one right here, choose the transform and connect it under the Premult. Okay, so now what you have, if you select the transform node and press 1, now what you have is a cloud with an independent transform properties. So you could move it left and right. Okay, you could move it left and right if you want. You could rotate it. Okay, you could rotate it however you want. You could scale it as much as you can. Okay, so we want the scale. So I'm just gonna go to a decimal value. Okay, to adjust the scale, and you could position it however you want. Okay, so now we have a sky with the clouds. Okay. Like this one. Okay, so we get the clouds, we get the sky. Now the next thing we need to do is we need a ground. Okay, we need a ground, and we need mountains. So let's do the mountains first. Okay, so what are the colors of a mountain? Colors of a mountain that is a far mountain is usually a grayish blue. Okay, so I'm gonna invoke another constant. Okay, channel RGBA, switch it to 1. Okay, and then I'm gonna adjust my color to a little bluish, but at the same time a little bit of gray, so I can adjust this value right here. It's a little bit dark. Okay. Let's see. Okay, and then I'm gonna do a roto, and I'm going to make mountains. Okay, just gonna left click and drag. Okay, make some mountains. Left click and drag. Okay, I can use my middle mouse to pan, scroll, and I'm just gonna make a mountain over here. I'm gonna connect it, close it. Okay, make some adjustments if necessary. Okay, if you're fine with it, I mean, you could even select the whole thing. You could move it and position it like so. Okay, if you're happy with it, now you could press tab, copy, A on the roto, B on the constant. You can press tab, Premult. Okay, select it. Now you have a mountain shape. Select the group, press tab, type backdrop. So you could double click it and say mountains. Okay, now press M for merge. This one will be A, and B will be the background, sky background. Okay, so we have that. Doesn't look much right now, but that's okay. Okay? Now we can even go to our mountain roto. You can just adjust if you don't like it. No, just like so. Make some Make some adjustments. Okay, like that. And don't forget to save. Okay. Now we have the mountains now. So the next thing we need to do is we're gonna create the ground. Okay. So I'm gonna press Tab, Constant, Channel RGBA, Color to 1. Okay. And the color of the ground, let's pick a brownish color. We could play around with the color. Yeah. What's the earth tone like? Okay, maybe like that. Yeah, and then I'm going to grab another roto. Okay, and you could use the Bezier curve, or you could left click and hold, and you could use your rectangle shape. Okay, you could left click and drag it over here. Okay, you could select the whole thing. You could position it however you want. Okay, I'm just going to position it right here, and I'm going to call copy. Okay, and then I'm going to do a Premult. And now I have this ground with from the shape of the roto. Select everything, press Tab, type backdrop. Okay, adjust your backdrop accordingly. Double click on your backdrop and type ground. Okay, and then we're gonna press M for merge. A should be on the ground. B should be on the backdrop. On the background. Okay, so I'm gonna press 1, and now I have the ground, I have the mountains, I have the clouds in the sky. Okay, it's still very simple, but we're gonna make it look nice and pretty later. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is create some trees. Okay, so the trees will be standing on top of the ground. Okay, so what we need to do first is, again, call it constant. And for the tree, okay, channels RGBA, color 1. And I'm going to switch the color to green for the leaves. Okay, let's make it maybe dark green. And let's view this one here. Okay, like that, that's okay. Okay, and I'm gonna get a roto. Okay, and I'm going to make a pine tree. Okay, basic pine tree shape. Left click, and you could even just do a left click without dragging it, and it will create a point with sharp edges. Okay, if you don't drag it, you will create this type of shape. Okay, okay, if you like this type of tree, you could definitely do it. Okay, I'm just eyeballing right now. Okay. Here you could press Control and select. You could zoom in, middle mouse roll, and press Control and select the left and the right hand, and you could adjust how the busy hand bends. Okay. Then you could select everything. You could position it anywhere. So let's just position it in the middle, because we're going to be editing it with a transform node later. Okay. So now we have the shape. Now you could adjust however you want. Okay. That. And again, copy Premult. Okay. Copy Premult. I have the tree shape. I'm going to select everything, type backdrop. Okay. I'm going to double click the backdrop and I'm going to say tree or trees. Okay. And I'm going to call up a merge node. A will be on the trees, B on the background. I'm going to select the merge node, press 1. Okay. So we have a tree right in the middle, but we don't want that position. Okay. Because we still need to create a branch. Okay. Like so. So let's make the tree's backdrop a little bit bigger, because we're going to add more shapes to it. Okay. So I'm going to call it another constant. Okay. RGBA, switch it to 1. We're going to be making a branch, so it's going to be a little bit brown, dark brownish type of color. That. Okay. And we'll get a roto. Okay, let's position it over here. And you could make your own branch, or you could just use a rectangular shape and just drag one rectangular shape over here. That. You could do that. Or if you want, you could use the Bezier. Okay. You could use the Bezier, left click and hold, Bezier node. You could draw a branch specifically. One, okay. Let's make some roots over here. Okay, if you want to be detailed like that, you definitely can do it. Okay, let's remove some points. Okay, remove that one, and you could adjust it. You can zoom it here. If you want it smooth, you definitely do it. Okay. Refine the edges. If you're satisfied with it, you could also select copy Premult, Control C and Control V. Okay, then you could copy the setup fast, connect A to the roto, B to the constant. Now you have a branch and you have the leaves. So what you could do is to merge them together. The leaves will be on top of the branch, so press M for the merge, A for the leaves, B for the branch. Okay, but now we have to adjust both of them. So you could either go to the roto. Okay, we could do this. Select. There is a transform bounding box right here. You could either go to the transform tab, or you could just stay on the roto tab with the transform bounding box, and you could press Shift. Okay, press Shift and left click the edge, and you could scale them uniformly. Okay, like so, like that. Okay, and you could move it however you want. Same here on the branch roto. Okay, you could select everything. You could either go to the transform tab, change the scale, or you could just simply stay at the roto tab and hover your mouse on whatever edge you want right here. Press Shift and scale it uniformly like so, and you could move it down. Okay. Down right there. I think that looks okay. Okay, so we close it. Now we have a simple tree. So we just need to connect this merge A over here. Okay. And once we view it, we have a simple tree smack in the middle of the ground. Okay, so don't worry about it. We could always position it. Okay, so what we could do to edit, to move the tree around, is we could select this merge right here that connects the trees and the branch, and press Tab and type Transform. Okay. Okay, so now you could move it like so. Or what you could do to the transform node is, while selecting the transform node, is hover your mouse on the stage, okay, and put it right in the middle of the gizmo, transform gizmo. Then you could press Control, left click mouse button, and you could move the transform gizmo around to wherever you want. Okay, you could see it here in the center on the transform properties on the center. Property, you could see that the numbers are moving. Okay, again, press Control, left click mouse button, and you could position the control right here just below the root of the branch. Okay, and once you let it go, now you could left click mouse and you could move the tree around. Okay, so let's position the tree over here. Okay, okay, position the tree like that. So now we have a cute setup, but we want more trees, and we definitely need some highlights and shadows on the scene. So to make it look interesting, we could add a different shade of color on the tree. So what we can do is we could go back to the constant of the tree. Okay, and we could go here. Okay, let's make some adjustments like here. We could increase the backdrop size of the tree. Okay, so now we could add another constant. Okay, RGBA color 1. And we need a shadow of the tree. Okay, let's create a shadow. So what we could do is select the color green. Okay. Or you could simply select this one right here and Control Pick. Okay. You select here and Control Pick, and it will copy the color from constant 5 to constant 7, and then you could edit the values. Okay. So then we have a darker value. This. Okay. That. And while viewing the original tree, you could grab another roto. Okay, and you could zoom in, And yeah, let's just use the Bezier tool. Then we could add a shadow layer of the tree. Okay. Make it up. You can make it as random as you want. Okay. Maybe like this. Okay. Let's just make it simple for now. It doesn't have to be perfect. That's okay. Okay. We have that. Copy the copy of Premult setup. Okay. A on the roto, B on the constant. Now use a merge, and A will be on the darker value of the leaf, B will be the brighter value of the leaves, and connect it here. Okay. Now we have a shade, the darker color tree. So viewing that, doing the transform node, view it with everything else. Okay. Now we have the trees like that. I mean, you could always go to the shadow, to the darker value, double click the roto, and you could edit it over here if you want. Okay, you can move it like so. Okay, you could do that. You could even feather this a specific edge. Okay, on if you don't want a feathered edge over here and you want a feathered edge on this right side, what you can do is you could press Control, okay, select, left click the button, the point, and you could drag it and it will feather out. Okay, or you could select a group. You could select a group of points. Okay, shift select to add another point, and you could press E right there, E, multiple pressing of E, and it will give you a feathered edge of the roto. Okay, you could select that one. You could either press Control left click to feather it out, or you could again you could select a group of points by shift selecting. Okay, press E. Okay, and you could adjust these edges like so. Okay. Like that. If you made a mistake, you could always select them right there, right click, and you could reset feather, right? Or shift E, and it will go back to its original formation. Okay, let's feather it out. You could even feather this one out. It doesn't look good. Okay, so let's just leave it like that. Okay, save it up. Let's try to increase the feathered values. Okay, just increase it to make it look nice and pretty. Okay, right. So now we have this, and we could even adjust the color again of the main leaves to make it just a little bit dark, like that. Okay. Now we have the shadows, but I think we need a little bit of highlight on the tree. Okay. So again, you could always use another form of constant. Okay. You could always use that. Okay. Or again, you could also, if you want it quick, you could always make a roto. Okay, go output as RGBA. And on the Bezier tool, you could make a quick highlight. Okay. Do that. And this highlight is you know, a little bit thin if you want. You could even make some curves on it if you want. Okay. And white would be okay. So you could merge it. Okay. So once you merge it, now you have a white highlight. Now you could change the color if you want. Okay. So let's make it, let's give it a little bit of color. Okay, let's see. Color, greenish. Okay, that is fine. And you could also select a group of points, press E to feather it out. You could manually adjust it. Okay. You could press Control, left click mouse, just to highlight. Okay. There. Okay. So now you have a highlight like that. But then you think, you know what? It's a little too. The value is too solid for me. So there's two things you could do. You could either go to the merge, okay, and on the mix, you could adjust the opacity. Okay, you could adjust the opacity like there. That's also okay, right? Or you could double click the roto and select the Bezier, and over here there's another property to change the opacity. So you could also adjust it like so if you want. Okay, so there's two things you could do. Okay? You could do that. But me, I always prefer the merge because I can see it immediately. Okay? Because if you do it here, you might forget that you're adjusting the values here. So it's up to you. So I usually do it here in the merge, and I just adjust the opacity however I want. I think that's okay. All right? And now, if I view the whole tree, I have now a shaded tree with highlights and shadows. Now we could add highlights and shadows also on the branch. We could definitely do that. Okay, so instead of using a constant, we could use just a simple roto. Okay, so let's do that. Let's view the branch. Add a roto. Make sure that the output is RGBA. Okay. Bezier curve. And make the joints. I'm just going to draw like here. Doesn't need to be accurate. Okay. And I could merge it. This will be A, this one will be B. View it. And I'm going to change the color. Double click. And I'm going to change the color to brown, to dark brown. That, okay? Could do like this. Okay. And it's up to you if you want to adjust the feather. Want feathered, it's fine. To do that. Control left click to feather some of the points. Okay. Then you could make another one. Roto, output alpha RGBA, Bezier curve, and make the highlight. Okay, just one simple highlight on the right side. Okay. And now you could merge A, B, double click the Roto. On the Bezier, double click the swatch color, and you could change the color. Okay. And if you want, again, you could change the feather. You double click the merge and play around with the opacity of the highlight. You could switch the merge here, put it right here, and view the whole tree. Press H. Now we have a nice tree right there, and you could play around with the values of the shadow because it's too dark. Okay. Double click the merge over here. Okay. So now we have a whole setup of a tree. Okay. So let's name this backdrop trees or tree 01. Okay. You could do that. Now, what if you wanted multiple trees? Okay. You could either select the whole thing and Control C, Control V right there, which is okay, right? And you could definitely have another tree. You could name it Tree 2. And you could line it up here. Okay. Now you could now add another merge. Okay. And tree 2 will be A, and B be connected to the background. You move it over here. Okay. And to make it cleaner, okay, to make everything cleaner over here, you could always press Control. Okay, so when you press Control while outside the node, press Control and you will see these yellow points right here. So while pressing Control and you select that yellow point, okay, it will create a circuit type of lines. Okay, makes your setup look nice and clean. Okay. So now all we need to do is double click the transform of tree 2. Okay. You could either adjust the translate X over here, or you could simply select this guy right here, move it around wherever you wanted. So let's place it over here. Okay. And under the scale, I'm just gonna select scale over here and scroll the value decimal. You could add a different number, however you want. Okay, so we have that. That's a small tree, like a baby tree close to her mama tree. You could put it beside her. Okay, and save. So now we have this two trees beside each other. Okay. You could do that, or there's another way to duplicate a tree setup. Okay. You could press tab. Okay, so under tree 1, you could press tab and type transform. Okay. And under here, you could also connect it. Okay, you could connect it right there. Okay. And you could add another merge. Okay. This will be A, and this will be B. So now you have another tree. There's definitely another same copy as tree 1. Same thing that we did on tree 2, except we copied the whole setup over here. Okay, but we could also do it right here. Press Control, select the yellow dot, and adjust, make your tree clean and nice. Now you double click the transform, press Control, left click on the transform gizmo to move the control gizmo. And you could position the tree like so. Like that. Okay. You could scale it up. Okay. Scale it up. Let's put it here. Okay, you could definitely do that. You could even, okay, let's select this guy right here, let's put it all the way down. You could even copy this guy right here. Okay. Copy. Connect it again here, or you could also connect it straight here. Okay? It's the same thing. It's the same thing as connecting it here. So I'm connecting it straight to the point like so. And I'm going to copy the merge. Now I'm going to double click it, and on the translate X, I'm just going to, I'm going to put it right here. Okay, maybe a little bit lower, and then I'm just going to adjust the scale. Okay, it's like a baby tree there. Okay, I can even copy the whole setup. Okay, the transform and the merge together. Control C, Control V. Okay, just move it like here. Again, I'm gonna connect the transform over here, merge over here. Double click the merge. Go to translate X and move it to the left. Now I have another baby tree. So to make it random, just gonna make it a little bit younger. Okay. Maybe this tree is a bastard tree. Okay, this is the legitimate. On the right is the legitimate tree, sun tree, and the left is the bastard sun tree. Okay, does it make sense? But yeah. Okay, so now we have a nice looking tree setup right there. You could add another tree over here if you want. Okay, with a different form, of course. Okay, so let's try that, shall we? Okay, let's copy the setup again. Okay, connect the transform over there. Put the merge tool over here. Now you could move it like so over here, and you could adjust the scale. This guy is going to be a little bit taller. Like that. But what we can do to make it look different, okay, so let's try to make it different. We could connect, okay, well, we're selecting the transforms node on this tree right here. We could select the 2 over here so that we could separate the width and the height. So let's change the width. Let's make the tree thinner. So at least we make some variety. Okay? We make some variety of the tree. Okay? Adjust the height a little bit. So now we have a thinner tree. Okay? If it's too tall, just do it so. This one right here. Okay. So definitely, you know, makes it a little, you know, like a scene. It's already looking nice on the scene. So we could add a few more things. Okay, get a few more things if you want. Let's try to add a bush on the background of the tree. Okay, so this is the group of trees. If you view here, we don't have the trees yet. So what if we make a bushes over here? Okay, so let's make a constant. Okay, channels RGBA, color, switch it to 1, and let's pick a color that is light green, lightish green. Okay. And let's make a roto. And on the roto, Bezier curve. Now let's make a foliage. Okay, foliage or bushes. Definitely can make those. Make it as random as you can. Okay. If you want, adjust it however you want. Okay. And of course, copy Premult. You can select the whole group, press tab, type backdrop, okay, and double click the backdrop, and you could name it bushes. Okay, and from here you could make a merge node, merge it on top. Maybe not. Maybe merge it here. Okay, so let's try it. Okay, let's disconnect it. Bring the bushes on top of the ground. Select the ground and its merge. Put it all the way down. The bushes, connect the bushes over here. Select it. And the ground. Okay. Now we could select the roto of the bushes, and we could bring it a little bit down. This. Okay. Select the trees together. Okay, could do that. So we have a bush there. It's a little light, so let's try to make it a bit darker. Okay, a little bit, maybe change the color a bit so that it stands out. Okay. Like that. Okay. Maybe the mountains, let's try to pick the sky color of the mountains, okay? And let's just drag the dark values. Okay. Change the color. Okay. Yeah, that. Okay, so now we get the clouds, we get the sky, we get the mountains. Okay, let's view them one by one. So we get the clouds, we get the sky, we get the mountains, we get the bushes, we get the ground, and we got the trees. Okay. All right. We're almost done. Okay. So let's try to create a road over here. Okay. You could also do an image of the road. Okay. So let's go to the internet. Okay. And let's go to Google. Images. And let's type a asphalt road texture. Texture. Asphalt road texture. So we have an asphalt road texture here, and we could choose a high resolution. Okay. Let's pick this one right here. Okay, it's not too big, so let's right click it, save image as. Okay. And then I'm going to go to my projects folder, tutorials, okay, images, asphalt. Okay, save that one right there. You could close the browser. Okay, and to bring an image to your scene, there's few things you could press. You could select an empty space here and press R. Okay, to definitely do that. Yeah, or you could, I think there's another way, this one right here, read. Okay, press R, go to images, and bring the asphalt image. Okay, so be careful when you're bringing an image, especially if it doesn't match your size resolution. Okay, remember the first time over here when we press S. Okay, over here our size is 1920 by 1080. Now when you bring in an image and you press 1, the size is different. It's 1360 by 907. Okay, so to match those two formats, to match the 1920 by 1080, all we could do is press tab and type the word reformat. Okay, like so. Select it, double click it, and make sure that the output format is 1920 by 1080. Okay, you hook it up to the image. Okay, and select the format, and now it's 1920 by 1080. Okay, it forces the image to be on 1920 by 1080 so that it will match our whole composition. Okay, so let's bring the image over here at the top. It should be at the top of the ground. Okay, should be right here, or maybe after the trees. Okay, I think it's after the trees. So select your asphalt texture, press tab, put a backdrop on it. Okay, adjust your backdrop, double click your backdrop, and name it asphalt road. Okay, you select it and make sure you added a roto. Okay, let's add a roto. Over here you could left click and hold, and you go to your rectangle shape, rectangle tool, and just drag it at the bottom. Okay, and you could press tab, get a copy node, A on the roto, B on the reformat, press tab again, and get a Premult. Now you could merge it. Okay, tab merge, or press M, connect A to the asphalt road, B on the background, and now you have a road. So you could definitely double click the roto, and you could move the roto. You could move it like this, or you could use the keyboard like a game, like 8-4-6-2. Okay, 2 will be going to the bottom, 8 will be top, 6 will be right, 4 will be left. Okay, so you could do that. While pressing it, you could also press Shift to move it exponentially. Okay, Shift like that. Okay, so you could definitely do that. Okay, we have an asphalt road. Okay. Now you might want to say, oh, you know what, the asphalt road is too sharp. Can we feather the edges? Yes, you can, definitely. You could select the roto, select the top points, and again press E. Okay. Now you have a feathered path. Okay. Let's move it a little bit here. Okay. Right. Now let's bring in another image. Okay, let's press R, and I just downloaded this guy car. Okay. You could use whatever image you want. Okay, so viewing this guy car right here. Well, make sure that you're aware of the size of the image. Okay, so again, so that it will be consistent with our size resolution, grab a reformat. Oops, nope, not that one. Reformat. Okay, it's a little too big. So what you do is you grab a transform node. Okay, put it in the middle between the car PNG and the reformat. Okay, and make sure that your transform gizmo right here from the transform node, you press Control and move it at the center. Okay, so when you scale it, now you could scale it at the center. Now the question is, well, you have this weird edge issue right here. Okay, because we have a PNG, and if you press A, the PNG has an alpha. Okay, so let's edit the alpha over here by adding, okay, a Premult. So you have this. Okay, selecting the image, press Tab and Premult. Didn't work. How about this? Okay, let's grab a copy. Copy. Press Control and make a point. You could also connect it to the B, like so. Okay, from the copy, you add a Premult. Like that. Now, you still wonder why isn't it still working? What you could do is, there's a tool called Erode. Okay, so you press Tab and you type Erode. Let's just choose the basic one, which is the fast one. Okay, so Erode, but the name is Dilate, so don't be confused on that one. Okay, so when you press Tab, Erode right there, Erode fast is Dilate. Okay, so you connect it to the A. Okay, what it does is if you select the channels, not all, but you only select alpha, it will only affect the alpha of the image, not the RGB values. Okay, so that's what you do. Okay, so under Dilate, channels, select alpha and adjust the size accordingly. Okay, so now we have a cleaner car. We could adjust the road some more. Oops, think not. Still have this weird thing going on, but anyway. Black outside, I think that's okay. Reformat, black outside, that'll be fine. Okay. So now, I hope you're not confused on this setup right here. Okay. You could copy it like so. And make sure you play around with the dilate or erode fast. You could select the whole setup, press tab, always put a backdrop on the group of nodes so that your script is going to be clean. Okay, and you type guy car. Okay, select the stage. Get a merge node. A will be on the guy car, B on the background. Okay. Now, the guy car is very big. Okay. So we already have a transform node. So we could use that one to, change the scale of the car. We could move it around. Okay. You want. You could position it here. Okay. And you could even animate the car. Okay. So let's try to animate it. Okay, so now we have a car, we have a road, we have trees, bushes, mountains, and clouds. Why not animate it? Okay, make the scene more interesting. Okay. So let's click on the transform of the car. And so to animate it, make sure you're on frame number 1. Okay. So let's check if it's still recording. Yes, it's still recording. Okay, transform. And we need to make the car move to X axis. Okay. So on transform, translate X, so left click it, okay, and right click and set key, and it will turn the translate X into blue, and it will give a keyframe on frame number 1. Okay. So I want this car from here to here. Okay. So I'm gonna go to. You could do 2 things. You could either go to the end over here, straight to the end, or you could put a frame number in the middle. Okay. Put 100. It will go at frame 100. And in translate X, all you need to do is middle scroll it. Okay. Like so, right there. And now, make sure you save, and when you press play, it will cache out. Okay. And after the caching, it will play fast, like that. Okay. So now we have a car moving, and we could add the additional animation. Okay, so why not? Okay, let's we could try the clouds. Okay, let's make the clouds move. Okay, let's adjust some of this one here. Where's the clouds? Okay, the clouds right here. Okay, so we have a transform node over here, and we could also add a transform node on this other cloud right here. Okay, but we need to move it. The transform gizmo over here. Okay, so let's go like that. Okay. So let's try to move the clouds from the right to left. Okay, so let's start with this guy right here. Go to frame 1, On Translate X, right click, set key, okay, and jump to frame 100 and move it like so to the left, however you want. Go back to frame 1, same as this transform right here. Right click, set key, go over here, frame 100, and you could move it to the negative, okay, wherever you want. Okay, so when you press play, you're slowly moving to the left while the car is moving to the right. Okay, so you press play and the car is moving to the right while the cloud is moving to the left. Okay. Now you could call it done, but I'll show you some color correct, some adjustment on your comp so that it looks, it looks well integrated on each other. Okay. What you could do is you could add a simple color correction. Okay, you could press Tab, color correct, okay. Put it at the bottom. Double click your color correct, and we could do some different adjustments here. You could adjust the contrast. Okay, you could adjust the saturation, desaturate it. You could adjust the saturation. Okay, you could adjust the gamma. Okay, you could adjust the gain. So many things. You could adjust the shadows, midtones, and highlights. But what I wanted is the gain right here. So instead of changing the values of the gain, what I want is to change the color of the gain. So I'm going to go right here. Select it, and I'm just going to make it a little bit warmer. Okay, like that. Okay. It's sunny day, and go to an amber color, so it kind of gives the overall effect like it's in a sunny day. Okay, you could adjust however you want. You could bring the values a bit brighter, a bit darker. Okay. But definitely, this one is nice right here. Okay, that's just a simple color correction. Now, when you view it and you zoom out using your middle mouse, you notice that there's a big bounding box right here. Okay, so we'll try to trim it before we render it. Because if you don't trim it and render it, it will increase your file size. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is you need to add a crop node. So what you're going to do is press tab, type CROP, which is crop. Okay, now make sure on the crop node it says 1920 by 1080. Okay, and make sure the black outside is selected. Connect it to the color correct, and then press 1 to view it. And now your bounding box is gone. It got trimmed. Okay, you could press H to fit the comp. Now you are ready to render. Okay, save it first. Now to render it, all you need to do is press tab, type write, W-R-I-T-E. Okay, write node. So, and in the channels, let's try to render it with an alpha channel. Okay, let's choose RGB A under file, need to click the fold, like so. Okay, let's look for a proper folder right here. So let's add a new folder. Okay, press the folder here and add render. Okay, because we're going to render in this specific folder. Okay, now to render an image sequence on Nuke, you need to type something. Okay, So under render, you put the title in. Let's say my first Nuke render. Okay, that's the name of your render. Now you need to type the dot, okay, dot, and then percent 04D. That's the framing pad. Okay, you could type percent 04D, or you could type dot hashtag. Okay, 4 framing pads. It's up to you, but I always prefer the percent 04D because that's what I learned the first time. Okay, percent 04D. Okay, so it's my first Nuke render, the percent 04D dot. I'm going to render it as a JPEG, so I'm just going to type dot JPG. Okay, you could render different kinds of file types. For now, let's do JPEG and press save. Okay, so my first Nuke render dot percent 04D dot JPG. Channels is RGBA. File type is JPEG. Now under quality, you could change the quality to 1, because right now it's 0.75. So you could change it 1 over here, or you could just drag it right over here and it changes to 1. Subsampling, we'll switch it to 444. Okay. And everything is good over here. So press render. And it will ask you, okay, frame range. What frame range are you gonna render? So I'm gonna select here and I'm gonna go global. Okay, what that means is I'm gonna be rendering frame 1 to 100 on my timeline. Okay, so when you select global, it gives you 1 to 100. You can have it custom. Okay, you could type whatever, 50 like so right there, but I want the whole frame range, so I'm just gonna use global. Okay, make sure you check you mark continue on error. Okay, make sure that your link here is proper, is correct, and then press OK, and it will render the whole 100 frames. Okay, let's give it a few seconds. Okay, so I hope you learned something from this. I know it's introduction for advanced users. Please, you guys know already how to do this one. If you're an intermediate user, there might be some techniques here that it's the first time that you encounter, but definitely this is for beginners and for ones that wanted to learn Nuke and how to get started. Okay, so now we finished rendering. To bring in your render, all you got to do is double click your right node. Okay, then press R and go to and it will take you to the location where you just rendered it. Select it. Make sure that you check sequences. Okay, if you don't select sequences, if you uncheck sequences, you will only bring one image. Okay, if you check sequences, it will read the whole image sequence right there. Okay, make sure you check the sequences again and select it and press open. And now you will have the render. Okay, press 1 to view it and press play to cache it out. Okay, and now you have your first Nuke render scene. Okay, so thank you again for checking my video tutorial. Hope you learned something here and hope you enjoyed the video tutorial. And I hope it also inspires you to learn Nuke X, particularly Nuke Compositing. And welcome to your wonderful journey of Nuke Compositing. Thank you very much and bye-bye. See you next time.